Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Before we get started, the housekeeping notes, all the product I'm using and all the measurements will be listed below. There's also a link to my online store. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be yours. If you have any questions about Stampin' Up! Or want to see something made on this channel, please send me an email and I'll get back to you. And finally, there is a link to our Facebook group, and we'd love to have you join that. And please remember to like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel to help it grow. Also, if you ring the little bell, you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. So on Monday, I worked with Sun Prints. And this I call the sister paper to Sun Prints. This is called Pretty Prints. It is still a sun print, but it's different colors. And there is 3 sheets, and they're all different. There's 3 sheets of 4 different colors. 3 sheets of 4 different colors. Okay, so this is Blackberry Bliss. And on the flip side is this one. And every page is just as gorgeous as the next. And this is just more of a muted. This is the Evening Evergreen. They're the same style of print, but they are just different colors. This is Calypso Coral, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. This one is so beautiful. And like the Sun Prints, I had played with it until this week, and so I decided I should. This is Bermuda Bay and Coastal Cabana. Now this one, I only have 2 sheets, full sheets to show you. And this is what's left of the final sheet because I've been using it. But I wanted to show you this paper. It's absolutely gorgeous. So that is the Pretty Prints. So what are we making today? We are making a slimline card, and it is a vase with flowers in it. And I don't think you can see there is sparkle on this. It's got Wink of Stella on it. And inside it's just a little blending and says sending hugs. And so I'm going to show you how I made this vase and put this whole card together. I did not have a vase per se, so I started looking at dies to figure out what I could use to make a vase. And I ended up grabbing, hang on, grab the right one. I grabbed the Tailor made tags. And I grabbed the largest one with the rounded bottom to make my vase with. So we'll be cutting that out. And to give it the texture, I used the Painted Textures 3D embossing folder, and we inked it. So we'll do that in a few minutes. And then the stamp sets and dies I'm using one stamp set, or one stamp from Eden's Garden, and that's Sending Hugs, because I wanted that particular phrase. And we are going to be using these 4 flowers to make our bouquet. So let's get stamping. So let me grab our parts to our cards. We'll go over all the dimensions and stuff in a few minutes. We're just going to do some stamping first. This is, I just grabbed some scraps of white paper and our Memento. And I'm going to start stamping some flowers. Ooh, I didn't do that very well. Let's try that again. There, that's a little better. this one. And this one's a bigger one, so I like to take, when I got really big, get on these bigger blocks, I like to take my ink to the stamp. I'll put him at an angle here. Like that. Looks like I need to think about inking my Memento again. And the last one here. So you need one of each. That's the bad one. We'll set that aside for a minute. And then my envelope, this is my Slimline envelope. Since I'm not using the back of this, I'm just going to use it as my, and we're going to stamp this without the stem, just like that. And we'll come back to that in just a few minutes. So those are our pieces that we needed to stamp. There is one more stamp, but we'll be doing that in Bermuda Bay, so we'll get that out in a few minutes. Ooh. Ink, anyone? Just one moment. Just make sure that's cleaned off enough. I'm not going to leave it on any of our work. That's, you know, part of the fun is getting inky. So now what I did with these next is I colored them all in. I didn't figure you needed to watch me color all those flowers in. But in the description, I will list all of the colors I used. I colored them all and die cut them. So it only leaves one for us to color in, and that is the one on the envelope, which we're going to do right now. So that's our flowers. I figured I'd speed things along. You didn't need to watch me color. I know you've seen me color these flowers before. They're very tiny. Now, this is an envelope, and we're going to be using a blend. So you need to stick some kind of cardstock in there. Get that out of my way. And so I've already stamped on this, so it's okay. Get it down into the corner. And this one I colored very simply. I just used, this is light Bermuda Bay, and colored all the little buds in. Like I said, I did nothing fancy on this, kept it really simple. And a little teeny one right there. So there are our envelopes done. But this is why you put a piece of paper or something in there, or if it's typing paper, put a couple layers so you don't bleed through on your cardstock. But this side's still fine. So I'll cut those out later and use them. So that's our envelope. The next thing we need to do is we need to make our base. So we're going to cut that out first. And I am using my Big Shot because this would cut out with the small one, but I need the Big Shot for the 3D embossing folder. So put that on there. Die cut out. Okay, so now when you look at this, we have this piece here with the hole and this at the top. We need to cut this down, and when I cut mine down I cut it just right at the lines here. Now you can do it on a paper trimmer. Let me move this in so you can see what I'm talking about. So you got the hole and you got the lines right here. So you can do it in a paper trimmer, or you can be brave. And basically I'm just cutting just this side of the stitching, just like that. So you can put it in the paper trimmer, or you can, you know, leave it out. But we don't need that piece to make our arrangement. The next thing we need to do is, on mine, I have to set it to do 3D. So follow the instructions to whatever your machine is. And I think this is it. I always forget. Yeah. I always forget on this which one it is. So on our embossing folder, we're going to take the paper I was using is, what color is the paper I'm using? Sorry. It's Smoky Slate. I tried Smoky Slate in this, and it was just not the right look I was going for. I need to move this back out, don't I? It wasn't the look I was going for. And I actually, I set these here to show you what they look like. Just one moment. You know what happens when I set something aside? Because I want to show you what they look like. There they are. The Smoky Slate just didn't give me the color, but you might like the Smoky Slate. Now, the other thing I did look at was, Tailor with some other stuff. I tried white with Bermuda Bay to see how that base would look. And it was just too much Bermuda Bay for this card. And then I actually tried white crafting on Bermuda Bay to see how it would look, which it looks really nice. If I was using a different color base, it might work. But I've saved all those because they are still usable for something. And as I've told you, I keep little pouches with all the stuff I've made and I'm not used, so that I have it for future videos or if I'm just putting something together. So enough with my spiel. But you look around what you want. If you use a different color base, we're using on this card, we're going to be, the first card was Coastal Cabana. We're going to be using Bermuda Bay as the base of this card. So it's just too much. So basic gray. The front, now you could ink up both sides. You could do embossed or debossed. But I wanted the embossed. So if you want to do embossed, you ink up the side that has the stamping up on it. If you can't decide, do both sides. You can choose that way as well. But since I'm using the stitched, it's not too bad. We'll do both sides, then we can decide. So I don't need to do the whole thing. I just need to do a section. So I'm going to do both sides. When in doubt, do both sides. No one's going to see the side you don't choose. So I'm going to put my ink on there. Just straight on. Then I'm going to take my, set it right in the center, close it up, and run it through the embossing folder up. And grab my plate that is sitting over there. And then we're going to lift this out very carefully. So we've got, that's the embossed side, and that's the debossed side. I think I still like the embossed side the best. But you could choose whichever side you like. Now this I will take to, after I'm done, I will take it to the sink and wash it out and let it dry. It's very easy to clean. So let me get this machine out of our way. Actually, get that platform out of my way. Sorry, I have a cabinet that sits off the side of me where I have everything. My space always seems to get smaller and smaller as we work. So there's our base. Doesn't look like much yet. So let's get our card out. This is a piece of 7.5 by 9, scored at 3 3/4. This is our DSP, which is 3.5 by 8 3/4. It's going to go on the front. And this is our piece in the inside, which is also 3.5 by 8 3/4. So before we start gluing, I need to stamp this and I need to do a little blending on it. So First, I'm going to take and grab the Coastal Cabana. I don't want a lot. I'm just going to grab a little. Hang on. My pile of stuff is slowly falling off. Just one moment. We'll have everything in the middle of the ink. I'm just rubbing here. I'm starting off to the side. And I'm just going around real lightly, just to bring in some color to this page. So it's like a haze. I think just adding a little ink on some of this stuff really makes it quite beautiful. Let's give it a little darker right here. That looks good. Like I said, not much. And when I'm done, I will just take and wash out that brush along with all the other stuff that I wash out. And then we're going to go ahead and stamp this. And we're going to use Bermuda Bay to stamp it. My sending hugs. I'm going towards the top here because I need some room to write on this card. Just like that. Boy, I'm having a terrible time today. I am inking myself up something fierce. So, let's start assembling this card. First, I want to burnish this because I don't believe I have. I usually don't burnish them when I first cut them. And I'll grab some glue, use adhesive of choice. That's that one that keeps on thinking it's going to die, but it just doesn't. And these have nice 1/4-inch borders. So that blending it's really faint, but it is there. It's hard to pick up on the camera. And then this piece is going on here. I like slimlines. They're sort of fun to have around and do occasionally. Just like that. Okay. Now we're going to start building our flowers vase. So what I want to do is sort of figure out where I want this to sit. And I'm going to take the 2 largest bouquets. This one. Yeah, about 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches and 3/4 from the top. We're going to put that one up there. And then we're going to stick this one right about here. And those 2 are going to go flat down on the card. Make sure I've got that about where I want it. Yep. And then this one is going to come over this direction. Not worry too much about the end sticking down because this is going to go over the top of it like that. And these are going over the top. Now these guys we're going to pop up on dimensionals. And we're going to use the minis on this because they are small. You probably could get one big one in the center there. Whoa. Got pieces here. There's that one. I think we have room for one more big one in here. And we'll use a couple small ones. should be enough. Now I'm going to go ahead and place this down first. So I get this positioned the way I want it. So I'm going to use the sides of my dimensionals. I'm going to flip them over and just run them down the length. You could use the long strips if you don't have any ends to your dimensionals. And I need a couple at the bottom, which I think we have enough, and then we'll say goodbye to this package of dimensionals with its funny holes. Won't be sad to see those go. And I'm going to peel those all off. Just like that. And you can line them up where I want. Just about like that. And then I'm going to start figuring out where I want this one to sit. You see, there's still room in here to stick these in. And I want them to stick out and up. I want to go over that way. I think we'll take that one in and this one over. They all turn out different. They don't always turn out the same. You don't have to put those all down. You could put them all up on dimensionals, but I sometimes think a little combination of both makes it for a nice look. It brings out those colors in there. Okay, so the next thing we need for our card is we need what I forgot to put on before we started. I'm going to peel this back. I forgot to do one thing. I forgot to put the ribbon on. Perch your ribbon on. Just need a little piece. Perch your ribbon across here before you glue it down. Like I said, I make mistakes. I get ahead of myself and forget. So I put one glue dot there. But it's okay. You just need a little piece, just long enough to go wrap around it, because you want to cover the top of this. And then I'm just going to grab another glue dot. It will be fine. Put it on the back side of this corner. Wrap it around. Yeah, we'll get it all fixed up. And then this one, I'll wrap it around with another glue dot. You're supposed to do this before you put your dimensionals on, and I forgot. Like I said, if I make a mistake on, don't edit these, and you get to see how to fix it. And sometimes a little fiddly, but we'll be fine. Pull that around. Now what I'm going to do, since I had to play with that a little bit, I'm going to stick a dimensional right in there, a little one. Take the top off if I can. Take a little dimensional and pop it right behind there to give a little support, since I had to play around with it. There we go. Now it doesn't quite cover it. I can move it a little bit up further. There we go. Keep in mind there's going to be a bow there. Now we need to tie a little bow. I'm not the greatest bow tire in the world, but I do my best. I usually tie my bows before, but I didn't do this one. Just pull until you get it the size you want. This is Crinkled seam binding ribbon. That's pretty good. So I'm gonna grab a glue dot. Like I said, you're not going to see it because I put the bow right over it. And those are a little long. Don't mind a little long, but there we go. So if you forget to put the ribbon in, the world is not coming to an end. And my bow's a little floppy. You could glue it down if you wanted, but I'm fine with it like that. I like big floppy bows. So the next thing I did was Wink a Stella because I wanted it shiny. So I just took a little Wink a Stella, and I know you can't see it very well. I don't know if I scoot this in, how well you can see the Wink a Stella on here or not. Well, I think you can because it's on the darker color, and I'm just sort of just rubbing it all over. It's just sort of putting it all over so it's shiny. And that was basic gray, so I've left a little bit of film, so I'm just going off to the side on a piece of paper to make sure. And then I'm just going to gently rub it all over the flowers. Just give them a little, nothing harsh, just a little rub. Just give it a little sparkle. And then, so you can't see it there if I zoom in. And then I decided it needed some more bling. So I grabbed some flat adhesive back pearls. I love these pearls. I think they're so pretty. And I just grabbed 3 of the smaller ones. And let's see, I'm going to put one down about here. And one up here. And one here. Just to add a little more bling to it. So that is our card. Nice slimline flower-based card. I could go in here and put another bow shoot up here if I wanted, but I also wanted to show off this paper because I think the paper is so beautiful. So, thank you for joining me today. If you like what you see, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this video and help me grow in YouTube world. And I really appreciate all of you joining me, and I will see you on Friday. I have a really cool thing for Friday. So, goodbye.